Afide, Lesor Mamai, and welcome to the to your house chamber, uh, to members of the community in the gallery and out there in the lobby. Welcome to your house, and to all those viewing on cable and on the different social media platforms. Welcome. I now call this fourth day first regular session to order. Please let us all rise for a moment of silent prayer. Thank you, everyone. I now recognize the clerk to please call the roll.
Representative Fata,
Gaya.
Representative Valdon,
Here.
Representative Fatal,
Present.
Representative Beneventi, Representative Angelo Komatsu,
Present.
Representative Diego Komatsu,
Present.
Representative Joel Komatsu,
Gaya.
Representative Vicente Komatsu,
Here.
Representative Castro,
Stiga.
Representative Joseph Flores,
Present.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Present.
Representative Anglonia,
Present.
Representative Ogle,
Yeah.
Representative Omar,
Present.
Representative Probst,
Present.
Representative Sablan,
Stiga.
Representative Nicolas,
Present.
Mr. Speaker,
Present.
Representative Yang Tamay,
Nyanyi.
Representative Yumo.
Present.
Mr. Speaker, 19 members are present and 1 member is absent.
Thank you, clerk. With 19 members present, that constitutes a quorum. Just let it be known for the record for today's session that Representative Roman Beneventi is hereby excused for today's session. I would like to now call for a recess for the presentation of resolution to the family of the late former Representative Jacinta Matagolay Kaipet. Quick recess.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Um, Today, we're going to present the House Commemorative Resolution 23-1 to honor and commend the late Honorable Jacinta Matagolay Kaipat for her relentless dedication and selfless contribution to the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Island, and to extend our heartfelt condolences to her bereaved family and on her untimely passing. And Jacinta was loved by so many people in the Marianas and the region. She was a strong advocate for the indigenous rights, cultural preservation, and environmental protection, Among her distinguished accomplishments are she was the first Refaluas woman to obtain a law degree in 97, a member of the 15th House of Representative, representing Precinct 1, the founder of Pagan Watch and Alternative Zero Coalition, and Cinta's legacy and selfless service will be missed but never forgotten. So, with that, we would like to present the family with this House commemorative resolution for all her dedication to the Sinamay. So, thank you so much. Uh, would the family like to say a few words, Uncle Gus?
Thank you, Congressman, and also this humble body of the 23rd Legislature. You know, we are so happy that you're able to put together some time for this honor. It means a lot to the family. You know, Cinta is not gone to us. She's never gone. She's just a part of the stars up there. You know, looking down at us. And I know that if she were here, I know that she would also ask that we continue to work for our people, to continue to fight for our natural resources. Because if you care about land, it also means that you're caring for the people. And for that, Olomai, thank you, Jesus Masi, and best of luck to each and every one of you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. We'll now rise back to session. Um, Before we went on recess, we were on roll call. So now we'll move down to item number 2, public comments. The floor is now open to receive comments. Please state your name, the entity you represent, or speak on behalf of, and you'll be given 3 minutes. We can allow for more flex time as others, if there's no one more to do public comments. And if you have written comments and would like to submit it, please submit it to the Sergeant at Arms, who would then give it to our clerk for the record. Floor is open.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker and member of this distinguished body. My name is Herman T. Guerrero. I don't represent any agency, but as grandparents, uncles, and to my siblings, and as a former member of the Board of Education, I'm here in support of House Bill 2320, that is to amend the quorum and removal of members provision for the State of Board of Education and for other purposes. As we all know, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, my apology. It's it's almost 4 months since the Board of Education, the new members have been sworn in, but they still lack the leadership. Who knows that way back the original bill that was passed, it was never intended or ever envisioned that these things will happen this way. There's always a decorum and respect for one another in the past, and the fact that whoever has the majority is respected also within the board, and continue their duties and responsibilities, especially the fiduciary responsibilities as member of the elected Board of Education. I'm in full support of the bill itself, primarily also because it still maintained the part of the original intent to ensure that we don't overlook the interests of Rhoda and Tinian. And that was the original intent of having only 5 voting members, but 4 is a quorum to conduct its meeting. It's even higher than any government and even the legislature, because even the legislature to pass land lease only requires, I believe, 75%. Even elected members, you go by whoever has the majority rules. Even the governor, when he's elected, you only need 51%. We need to move forward and urge that the interests of the students should be taken seriously, as well as the public school system. As a former board members, it has a lot of responsibilities the board has to do. The Board of Education also is the state board for the Head Start program. And there are, I believe, pending application, although it gives the commissioner the authority to approve absence of a board. It's not the best practice because it's supposed to be a stopgap solution. But if they continue, then it means that what if the future, if the officer comes back in and they don't agree with the commissioner, you cannot just reverse everything that is already in place. So I ask that this body support the bill. And I don't know when is the next Board of Education going to have its another meeting so they can elect its officers. It's if you think about it, it's like the minority of the House will have to determine of who's going to be the speaker. It doesn't work like that in a democratic society. I think the majority always rules, and we follow the democratic system, and we need to go ahead and ensure that the slogan of PSS is student first. They need to look at the bigger picture. There's a lot of things that are pending, including teacher certifications, renewals that people needs to get their teaching certificates to continue working within PSS. But even new people that are coming in needs to get their teaching certificates. So there's a lot of things, and also heads and even special ed, those things that needs to be submitted to the U.S. Department of Education needs to move ahead, but it needs the approval of the Board of Education and its blessing. So I urge the member to seriously consider that despite differences or different of opinion, let's move ahead and let's see how the system will continue. If any of the board doesn't like a commissioner, then bring it up and they can remove him, because the commissioner, even though they have a contract, he has a contract, is subject to review by the full board and can be removed. And it doesn't have to be at the end of the contract. It's just an annual basis. They have to renew his performance and his goals and objectives for the year. With that, Mr. Speaker, dispensa Zoa. Because Manny told me it's a house no committee hearing. So my apology. I didn't mean in any disrespect to anyone. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and members of the legislature. The
Thank you.
House legislature.
Thank you, Mr. Guerrero. And I understand how that can happen being in the Board of Education for as long as you have. All right. Before we move forward with public comments, we're going to have we have some important communications that we need to add to the agenda. So just that we are in order, I'm going to recognize the floor leader to suspend certain rules, so the communications and other documents that did not meet the 72 hours can be added to today's agenda. So floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This time I move to suspend Rule 3, Section 6, so that the House amends its agenda to include unnumbered bills and resolutions and communications not filed with the clerk's office 72 hours in advance when a notice for session was given and posted. So moved.
Thank you. Motion was made by the floor leader to suspend pertinent rules and has been seconded. Any discussions? All right, thank you, members. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Fata, Representative Aldon,
Yes.
Representative Tato,
Yes.
Representative Angelo Komatsu,
Yes.
Representative Diego Komatsu,
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu,
Good.
Representative Vicente Komatsu,
Yes.
Representative Castro,
Good.
Representative Joseph Flores,
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Yes.
Representative Manglonia,
Yes.
Representative Ogo,
Pungan.
Representative Omar,
Yes.
Representative Probes,
Yes.
Representative Sablan,
Hungan.
Representative Nicolas,
Yes.
Representative Yangtamay,
Aware.
Representative Yumo. Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 19 members present voted yes.
Thank you, clerk. With all 19 members present voting yes, the motion hereby carries. Thank you, colleagues. Floor is now still open for public comments.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker, floor leader, vice speaker, distinguished members, honorable members of the House.
My name is Anthony Torres, Acting Commissioner with the Department of Corrections. I'm here to speak on House Bill 23-13 and House Bill 23-17. Thank you for allowing me to comment on these two House bills. Both of the House bills are well-written, and they appear to seek enhancements to current law to support prosecutions. As far as House Bill 23-13 for the dangerous weapons, it utilizes Texas Penal Code references, which we all know is legitimate. But the federal regulations are stated at 18 USC Section 930, which outlines dangerous weapons in federal prisons. Ultimately, a dangerous weapon should be defined as any item as an extension of the hand utilized with ill intent to cause harm. Regarding House Bill 23-17 for prison contraband, the Federal Bureau of Prisons uses 18 USC 1791 for contraband inside the prison and 21 USC Section 841 for drugs specifically. Your proposals appear to be a very positive clarification for prosecution of what you defined as contraband. It clearly outlines the penalties with prison time and monetary punishments, which is a plus, and it includes a savings clause in Section 4 to ensure the bill does not interfere with any existing defining rules for contraband. Ultimately, the goal is to deter individuals from engaging in these prohibited acts. So the minimum penalties are more important to ensure individuals do not feel that the crime is worth it. So I'm referencing some of these federal standards, but I also want to remind the legislature that almost every state has these types of laws already. For example, most constitute felony charges, and I'll go down the list. Texas Penal Code Section 38.114, contraband in correctional facility. Florida Statute 944.47, introduction, removal, or possession of contraband, penalty. Also, the Ninth Circuit states one territory, there are a total of nine states and 2 territories in the Ninth Circuit, have laws against contraband in prisons. Alaska statutes 11.56.375 through 11.56.380 promoting contraband. Arizona statute 13-2505 promoting prison contraband. California Penal Code 4573.5 bringing contraband into a jail or prison. Guam statute 58.60 promoting prison contraband. Hawaii Revised Statute 710-1022 through 710-1023, promoting prison contraband. Idaho Statute 18-2510, possession, introduction, or removal of certain articles into or from correctional facilities. Montana Statute 45-7-307, transferring illegal articles or unauthorized communication. Nevada, Revised Statutes 212.093 and 212.160 through 212.185. Oregon, Revised Statutes 162.185, supplying contraband. Washington, Revised Statutes 9A.76.140 through 9A.76.150, introducing contraband. I'm in full support of this bill, but as well as going over this for the contraband and full support of the bill for the weapons as well, I also want to touch on. I have in front of me the employee standards of conduct for the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and this also pertains to staff. So I want to go ahead and read the section. Contraband is defined as material prohibited by law or by regulation, or material which can reasonably be expected to cause physical injury or adversely affect the security, safety, or good order of the institution. Introducing or attempting to introduce contraband into or upon the grounds of any federal correctional institution, or taking or attempting to take contraband out of it without the CEO's knowledge and consent is prohibited. This is the employee standards of conduct. all employees of the Department of Corrections, or even public safety for that matter, and law enforcement, need to be held to a higher standard. I urge and I encourage the members of the House to explore this so we can utilize this as a tool for deterrence, so that none of the drugs will be coming into the prison, because we all know what's going on. And I'm here to support the bill that I presented, and also to take a look at a bill to enhance how it applies to staff. Thank you very much for your time and for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. Floor is still open for public comments.
Thank you, Speaker. Good morning, members. My name is Jonathan Robert Glass Jr. I'm the Chief Solicitor of the CNMI, and I'm here on behalf of the Attorney General's Office. I'm here to support House Bill 2313 as well, which is the Dangerous Weapons Bill, 2314, the Vandalism Bill, and 2317, the Prison Contraband Bill. As far as House Bill 2313, the Dangerous Weapons Bill, the AG does strongly support this bill. We had a chance to actually meet with the JGO committee and provide a little more insight into it. So we do support this as it is currently written. We would ask for the House to pass it in its current form and version. This is a bill that I think has been needed. It clarifies some terms for the attorneys, for the prosecutors, as well as for defense. And it helps the prosecutors be able to prosecute these types of cases. We recently had a case where a prison individual or prisoner took a toothbrush and sharpened it and then used it to attack a barber, right? The whole purpose of that was to inflict damage on this individual, serious damage, by striking them again and again in the head. Now, this case was tossed out of the court because of the definition of dangerous weapon. So we strongly support the passage of this bill so that these people can be held accountable for their actions. House Bill 2314, which is the vandalism bill, the AG also strongly supports this bill. When this bill was first passed, it made vandalism crimes what I'll say is almost unprosecutable. And as a prosecutor in the CNMI, somebody that has been prosecuting here for the 6 years I've been here, I can tell you that's very difficult. It's very difficult to look at victims and let them know, I'm sorry, but the most we can do here is this, because this is all the law will let us do. And so when you had people whose property was destroyed, when you had people whose property had been vandalized, and this isn't just graffiti, right? This is somebody takes a key to a car. This is somebody that spray paints a car that they can't get off, right? This is not just your typical teenager graffiti type things. We would go into court, and the most we'd be able to do is say, okay, we can try to do some community service, which we were having trouble with because there was no provision to suspend anything, to have anybody monitor these individuals on community service. So the courts were reluctant to even impose that. And in addition, all we could say is, okay, there's also a fine. This also made it hard to get restitution and things. So by adding in jail time, it solves all of those problems. It also holds people accountable that need those kinds of punishments. For House Bill 2317, the Prison Contraband Bill, I will just reiterate much of what Acting Commissioner Torres said. We are the only jurisdiction that does not have a prison contraband bill in the Ninth Circuit. Right? So there's a part of our law here that's just missing. It's a gap in our law. And so we would ask for you guys to pass this again in its current form. We've been able to look at these bills. We've provided our written comments as well. You should have the written comments. But we do strongly support these bills. Very recently, there was a case, you may have read about it in the newspaper, and this was a federal case, so I don't really have any details or anything I can provide. But an individual snuck a cell phone into the prison. And they're currently facing charges in the federal system, right? But we don't have an equivalent to hold them accountable under the CNMI laws. And because of that, we can't do anything about it. So somebody sneaks something like that in, something dangerous, something bad happens, there is no recourse right now under the law. That's not justice. That's not allowing people to seek what we are supposed to be doing, which is seeking justice for individuals, protecting our community. And so that's why the AG would ask that you pass all of 3 of these bills in their current form today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Glass. Floor is still open for public comments. No further public comments. So with that, we now move down to item number 3, the adoption of journals, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 3, adoption of journals, we have 2 items before the House. First is the second day first regular session journal dated February 3rd, 2023. The second is the third day first regular session journal dated February 15, 2023.
Thank you, clerk. I would now like to recognize the floor leader for the motion to adopt journals. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of journals for the second day first regular session journal dated February 3, 2023, and the third day first regular session journal dated February 15, 2023. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made by the floor leader to adopt the journals, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay. Thank you all. All in favor to adopt the journals, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The journals are hereby adopted. Thank you, members. We now move down to item number 4. And I recognize Representative Manny Castro.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, I'd like to introduce several bills, but I'll go ahead and start with HB House Bill 23-20 to reduce the CNMI's growing litter problem and to conserve resources by accepting beverage.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Chairman Castro, if we can
2318.
follow the order. Thank you.
Okay. So that was House Bill 2318 to reduce the CNMI's growing litter problem and to conserve resources by accepting beverage containers for refund value and providing penalties, introduced by myself and several others.
All right. Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to refer House Bill 23-18 to the Committee on NR. Proceed.
Okay. I'd also like to introduce House Bill 23-19 to provide tax credit for taxpayers who make donations of cash or food supplies to a qualified local food pantry, homeless shelter, or soup kitchen, introduced by myself and several others.
Thank you, Chairman. And your bill 23-19 will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. Please proceed.
Okay. I'd also like to introduce House Bill 23-20 to amend the quorum and removal of members provisions for the State Board of Education and for other purposes, introduced by myself and Rep. John Paul Sablan and several others. I'd also like to request that we request for first and final reading regarding this bill, given the nature and sensitivity of the issue at hand.
All right. Thank you. And thank you with no objection. I'd like to recognize the floor leader for the proper motion to place House Bill 23-20 on calendar for action today. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to suspend Rule 9, Section 8, referral of bills and resolutions, to place House Bill number 23-20 to amend the quorum and removal of members' provisions for the State Board of Education and for other purposes on today's bill calendar. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made by the floor leader to suspend Rule 9, Section 8, referral of bills and resolutions, to place House Bill 23-20 on today's bill calendar, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay, members, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion hereby carries. Thank you, members. I'll now move down to the next House bill, and I recognize Representative Diego Camacho.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Officially introducing House Bill number 23-21 to amend the compensation of Sinamay Cannabis Commission members, introduced by myself and several others. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Diego Camacho. Your bill 23-21 will be referred to the committees on cannabis and Ways and Means. I urge both committees to work on this bill. Thank you. I now recognize Representative Marissa Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to introduce House Bill number 23-22 to establish an investigative division of the Office of the Attorney General, codify investigative subpoena power, and improve the investigation of cases involving public corruption. And this is filed by myself and several others. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Flores. Marissa. House Bill 23-22 will be referred to the Committee on JGO. I now recognize Representative Malcolm Omar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, introducing House Bill number 23-23 to establish a Sinamay drug overdose policy, to authorize and mandate first responders to possess opioid overdose reversal medication, to authorize standing orders for opioid overdose reversal medication, and to provide limited immunity for dispensing opioid overdose reversal medication and for other purposes. Introduced by myself, and I welcome anyone else to join in.
Thank you, Chairman Omar. And House Bill 23-23 will be referred to your committee on health and welfare. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Introducing House Bill number 23-24 to provide an affirmative defense action, affirmative defense against drug possession charges in this case of an overdose. Introduced by myself, and I welcome others as well.
Thank you, Representative Omar. And 23-24 will be referred to the Committee on JGO. Please proceed.
Yes, lastly, introducing House Bill 23-25 to amend certain provisions of the Sinamay Good Samaritan Act and for other purposes, Mr. Speaker. Introduced by myself, and I welcome again anyone else to sign on.
Thank you, Representative Omar. House Bill 23-25 will be referred to the Committee on Health and Welfare. Thank you. I will proceed now. I'd like to recognize Representative BJ Attal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Formally introducing House Bill number 23-26 to amend 4 CMC 1402G1 to allocate 10% of the excise tax to the Solid Waste Management Revolving Fund. Introduced by myself and several others, and I welcome any of the members to co-sponsor on the legislation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Attal. House Bill 23-26 will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. Any other bill? I recognize Representative Joe Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to formally introduce House Bill 23-27. Is to ensure that the expenditure authority designated in the Annual Appropriation Act retain exclusive control over all funds appropriate to it. Prepared by myself, and I welcome my colleagues to co-sponsor the bill. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Joe Flores. House Bill 23-27 will be referred to the Committees on Ways and Means and JGO. Thank you. I now recognize Representative Angelo Camacho.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Formally introducing House Bill 23-28 to clarify the process for appropriation of administrative expenses of the Department of Public Lands and timely transfer of funds to Mariana's Public Land Trust. Introduced by myself, Mr. Speaker, and several others. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Angelo Camacho. House Bill 23-28 will be referred to your Committee on NR and Ways and Means as well. I now recognize Representative Floor Leader Probst.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Introducing House Bill number 23-29 to establish a reward for recovery of public funds and the mechanism for the payment of rewards for disclosures leading to the recovery of public funds and for other purposes, pre-filed by myself and open to other sponsors. Thank you.
Thank you, Floor Leader. House Bill 23-29 will be referred to the Committee on JGO. Any more unnumbered bills that did not meet the 72-hour notice? We're ready? Ready? Okay, thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item B, House Local Bills, and I recognize Representative Julie Ogle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to introduce House Local Bill number 23-5 to amend the Road Adult Control Act under Title 10, Division 1, Chapter 1, Article 2 of the Commonwealth Code, introduced by myself. I also have one unnumbered bill. Oh,
Thank you.
sorry. I apologize. Yeah.
Thank you, Representative
Thank
Julie Ogle. I now recognize Representative Patrick San Nicolas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. These two officially introduce House Local Bill number 23-6. This House Local Bill to reappropriate $11,246 allotted under the Tinian Local Law 18-09, $14,159 allotted under Tinian Local Law 19-13. This is a long, but bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. $13,800 from Tinian Local Law 19-15, $191,000 from Tinian Local Law 20-9, 5,000, huh? Or $191 from Tinian Local Law 20-9, 5,000 from Tinian Local Law 20-17, and 1,040 from the Tinian Local Law 20-17, and for other purposes. Prefer by myself, Mr. Speaker, I want to request if this one could be transmitted directly to the to the delegation. This one has funding ready from in the Tinian Municipal Treasury. This one has been introduced and passed, and so it's not it's the money's there already. Instead of putting on to or referring it to the Ways and Means, so to be a quick action for to the people of Tinian, Mr. Speaker, please, I ask that you just direct this to refer this to the delegation. That's all I request, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative San Nicolas. We have other appropriation bills coming up, so this will go through the Ways and Means, and I have pressed the chairman and the committee, and I also will be calling sessions, even if it's just for one local bill, just to make sure it's expedited. No? Okay. Recognize Representative Julie Ogle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have one unnumbered House Local Bill to introduce, and that's to appropriate $65,000 of the Rota Poker license fees account specifically under BU 3302 and for other purposes, introduced by myself. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Ogle. And of course, under our rules, the House Local bills that involve appropriations will go through Ways and Means. Any more local bills? Recognize Representative Attal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Formally introducing House Local Bill or a number House Local Bill to appropriate 1 million of the dividends collected by the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority from the Commonwealth Utilities Corporations or Corporation and for other purposes, introduced by myself and the members of the 3rd Senatorial District. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Attal. Any more House Local bills? Ready? All right, thank you. We'll move down to item number 5, introduction of resolutions. And I recognize Representative Again, just to reiterate for the record, any local bills involving appropriations is automatically referred to the Committee on Ways and Means in the House. Thank you, colleagues. We'll move down again to item number 5, introduction of resolutions, and I recognize Representative Yanktamai.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm honored to introduce House Resolution number 23-5 to congratulate and honor all the women in the Commonwealth as we celebrate their contributions and achievements during the month of March 2023, proclaimed as CNMI Women's Month, and March 8th as International Women's Day, sponsored by all these great female in here in the House and all the representative males also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaker.
So without any objection by the author, is it okay? Because you said it's by all the women. I didn't know Rep. Vincent Aldon and Rep. Angelo Camacho and Rep. Diego. So with no objection, can we introduce this as a committee of the whole? All right. Thank you. Thank you, Representative Yanktamai. I like that when I asked her if there's no objection, a man answered, no objection. Typical, like typical. No, I'm just kidding. All right, thank you for that. House Resolution 23-5 will be placed on today's resolution calendar for action. We now move down to commemorative resolution, and I recognize Representative Roy Adda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is to formally introduce House Commemorative Resolution 23-1 to honor and commend the late Honorable Jacinta Matagolay Kaipat for her relentless dedication and selfless contribution to the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Island, and to extend our heartfelt condolences to her bereaved family on her untimely passing. Pre-filed by myself and all of our colleagues here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Roy Adda. House Commemorative Resolution 23-1 will be placed on today's calendar for action.
Mr. Speaker.
Any more resolutions? Yes, recognize.
Mr. Speaker, if there's no objection from the author, can we introduce this formally? I understand that only needed 11 to pass, but just for the House Journal and record that it be introduced formally, committee as a whole, so it be on record. Thank you.
No objection.
Thank you. With no objection by the author and colleagues, commemorative resolution number 23-1 is hereby introduced as a whole of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Adda. Any more resolutions? All right, with none, we move down to item number 6, messages from the governor, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 6, messages from the governor, we have one item which the House included in today's session, Governor's Communication 23-14.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussions under Governor's Communication 23-14? Ready? Okay, thank you. I'm going to refer Governor's Communication 23-14 to the Committee on Ways and Means. This communication, of course, as you all know, my office distributed a copy to everyone yesterday, is about the revised budget. And I urge the Committee on Ways and Means to expedite the process in getting the revised budget bill and concurrent resolution ready as soon as possible. Thank you, members. We now move down to item number 7, Senate Communications, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 7, Senate Communications, we have just one item, Senate Communication 23-3.
Thank you, clerk. I now recognize the floor leader for the proper motion to accept Senate communications. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House accept Senate Communication 23-3 to become the property of the House. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made by the floor leader to accept Senate communications, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay, all in favor to accept Senate communications, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Motion hereby carries. I'm going to refer Senate Communication 23-3, which is on Senate Joint Resolution 22-2, to the Committee on Ways and Means. Oh, I'm sorry, 23-2. So that will be going to the Committee on Ways and Means. We now move down to House Communications. We have none. Communications from the Judicial Branch, we have none. Communications from department and agencies, we have none. Now move down to miscellaneous communications, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Under item 11, miscellaneous communications, we have three communications. Miscellaneous communication 2313, 2314, and 2315. 2314 and 2315 has been added by the House.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussion under miscellaneous communications? All right, thank you, colleagues. With no further discussions, I'd like to refer miscellaneous communication 23-13 to the committees on natural resources and ways and means, just for your reference. And I would also like to congratulate our youth that stepped up to take the opportunity to run and serve in the Youth Congress, and to those that also won their respective elections. So congratulations to our young leaders. Thank you, colleagues. We'll now move down to item number 12, reports on standing committees, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Under item 12, reports of standing committees, we have 5 committee reports ready before the House, ready for action.
Thank you, clerk. I now recognize the floor leader for the motions to adopt standing committee reports.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 23-1, reporting on House Bill number 23-11, entitled "To Amend Title I, Division 8 of the Commonwealth Code by establishing a Veterans Preference Employment Provision for the CNMI government and for other purposes." Your House Committee on Federal and Foreign Affairs recommends that the House pass House Bill number 23-11 in its current form. So moved.
Thank you. That's Standing Committee Report 23-1. A motion was made by the floor leader to adopt the Standing Committee Report 23-1, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All right. All in favor to adopt Standing Committee Report 23-1, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Standing Committee Report 23-1 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 23-2, reporting on Judicial Branch Communication 23-1, proposed NMI rules of guardianship procedure. Your House Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations recommends that the House approve the proposed NMI rules of guardianship procedure. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to approve Standing Committee Report 23-2, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay. Just for clarification, when we adopt this committee report, it passes. This deals with the proposed NMI rules of guardianship from the judicial branch. And so with that, I recognize the clerk to please call the roll.
Representative Ada, Representative Adan,
Yes.
Representative Atal,
Yes.
Representative Angelo Camacho,
Yes.
Representative Diego Camacho, Representative Joel Camacho,
Hungan.
Representative Vicente Camacho,
Yes.
Representative Castro,
Hungan.
Representative Joseph Flores,
Yes.
Representative Mr. Flores,
Yes.
Representative Gloria,
Yes.
Representative Vogel,
Hungan.
Representative Omar,
Yes.
Representative Probes,
Yes.
Representative Sablan,
Hungan.
Representative Nicolas,
Yes.
Representative Yangtamay,
Aware.
Representative Yumo,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 19 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 19 members present voting yes, Standing Committee Report number 23-2 is hereby approved. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 23-3, reporting on House Bill number 23-13, entitled "To Amend the Crimes and Criminal Procedure Code Definitions of Dangerous Weapon and Serious Bodily Injury." Your House Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations recommends that the House pass House Bill number 23-13 in its current form. So moved.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made to adopt Standing Committee Report number 23-3, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All right. All in favor to adopt Standing Committee Report 23-3, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Standing Committee Report number 23-3 is hereby adopted. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 23-4, reporting on House Bill number 23-14, entitled "To Amend the Punishment for the Crime of Vandalism to Include the Option of Confinement." Your House Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations recommends that the House pass the bill in the form of House Bill number 23-14, House Substitute 1. So moved.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made by the Floor Leader to adopt Standing Committee Report 23-4, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay, thank you, colleagues. All in favor to adopt Standing Committee Report 23-4, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Standing Committee Report 23-4 is hereby adopted. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Floor Leader. I'm sorry. Thank you, Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Oh, that's going to make the highlights, huh? Right on. Hit it, TikTok. I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 23-5, reporting on House Bill number 23-17, entitled "To Provide Clarity Relative to the Crime of Promoting Prison Contraband, or otherwise known as the Contraband Reform Act of 2023, and for other purposes." Your House Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations recommends that the House pass the bill in the form of House Bill number 23-17, House Substitute 1. So moved.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made by the Floor Leader to adopt Standing Committee Report 23-5, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All right. All in favor to adopt Standing Committee Report 23-5, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Standing Committee Report number 23-5 is hereby adopted. Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 13. Reports of special and conference committees, we have none. Item number 14, unfinished business, we have none. We now move down to item number 15, resolution calendar, and I recognize the Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of House Resolution number 23-5, a House resolution to congratulate and honor all the women in the Commonwealth as we celebrate their contributions and achievements during the month of March 2023, proclaimed as Sinamay Women's Month, and March 8th as International Women's Day. So moved.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made by the Floor Leader to adopt House Resolution number 23-5, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay. All in favor to adopt House Resolution 23-5, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution number 23-5 is hereby adopted. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of commemorative resolution number 23-1, a House commemorative resolution to honor and commend the late Honorable Jacinta Matogolay Kaipat for her relentless dedication and selfless contributions to the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, and to extend our heartfelt condolences to her bereaved family on her untimely passing. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to adopt commemorative resolution number 23-1, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready. All right. All in favor to adopt commemorative resolution 23-1, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. 23-1 is hereby adopted. Thank you, colleagues. We now move to item number 16, the bill calendar, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill number 23-20 for passage on first and final reading. I move to suspend Rule 7, Section 9. Sorry. Committee reports and other documents, and Rule 9, Section 9 and 10. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made by the floor leader to suspend pertinent rules for the passage of House Bill 23-20 on first and final, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All right. All in favor of the motion made by the floor leader, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now move for passage on first and final reading, House Bill number 23-20. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made by the floor leader for the passage of House Bill number 23-20, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? I recognize the chairman of the Committee of Education, Representative Manny Castro.
Sorry, colleagues, I know you guys were ready to pass this, but I just wanted to reassure our constituents that this bill, there's nothing political about this bill. Given, my background, over 6 years of education in leadership management and work behavior, as well as over a decade of work experience from the front line to management in education. We're separating all ties here and we're looking at the issue at hand. And this bill is purely to provide equity. When I look at PSS now, it's a lot different from, because I'm a product of PSS. Most of you are a product of PSS. It's a big ship with a small rudder. And this bill is going to allow us to give that rudder some flexibility to steer wherever it needs to be, given the financial issues, given all the things that need to happen expeditiously. So we're just making it equitable across the board. That's all I have, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Manny Castro. I recognize Representative Marissa Flores.
I too am, and thank you, Mr. Speaker. I too am in full support of this bill. I echo Representative Castro when he says that this is about equity, but I would also like to say on behalf of the 23rd legislature that we do believe in the motto of the public school system, which is students first. And because of that, this is the action of this bill. We support students first, and everything else I believe is secondary. But right now, today, what we are doing is to ensure that there is equity, and the slogan and the motto that PSS abides by and the mission, which is students first, is adhered to. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative Marissa Flores. Floor is still open for discussions. Ready? All right. I recognize the clerk to please call the roll.
Representative Ada,
Yes.
Representative Aldan,
Yes.
Representative Ato,
Yes.
Representative Angelo Camacho,
Yes.
Representative Diego Camacho, Representative Joel Camacho,
Ungan.
Representative Vicente Camacho,
Yes.
Representative Castro,
Good.
Representative Joseph Flores,
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores.
Yes.
Representative Manglonia,
Yes.
Representative Vogel,
Hungan.
Representative Omar,
Yes.
Representative Probst,
Yes.
Representative Sablan,
Hungan.
Representative Cindy Klaas, Representative Yangtamay,
Howard.
Representative Yumo,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 19 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 19 members present voting yes, House Bill 23-20 hereby passes the House. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill number 23-11, a bill for an act to amend Title I, Division 8 of the Commonwealth Code by establishing a veterans preference employment provision for the CNMI government and for other purposes. So moved.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made to pass House Bill number 23-11, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All right, thank you, colleagues. I now recognize the clerk for the roll call.
Representative Ada,
Yes.
Representative Aldan,
Yes.
Representative Fato,
Yes.
Representative Angelo Komatsu,
Yes.
Representative Diego Komatsu,
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu,
Hungan.
Representative Vicente Komatsu,
Yes.
Representative Castro,
Hungan.
Representative Joseph Flores,
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Yes.
Representative Manglonia,
Yes.
Representative Vogel,
Hungan.
Representative Omar,
Yes.
Representative Probst,
Yes.
Representative Sablan,
Hungan.
Representative Cindy Klaas,
Yes.
Representative Yangtamay,
Howard.
Representative Yumo. Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 19 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 19 members present voting yes, House Bill 23-11 hereby passes the House. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now move for the passage of House Bill number 23-13, a bill for an act to amend the Crimes and Criminal Procedure Code definitions of dangerous weapon and serious bodily injury. So moved.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the passage of House Bill number 23-13, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All right, Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Ada, Representative Aldan,
Yes.
Representative Fato,
Yes.
Representative Angelo Komatsu,
Yes.
Representative Diego Komatsu,
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu,
Hungan.
Representative Vicente Komatsu,
Yes.
Representative Castro,
Hungan.
Representative Joseph Flores,
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Yes.
Representative Manglonia,
Yes.
Representative Vogel,
Hungan.
Representative Omar,
Yes.
Representative Probst,
Yes.
Representative Sablan,
Hungan.
Representative Cindy Klaas,
Yes.
Representative Yangtamay,
Howard.
Representative Yumo. Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 19 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 19 members present voting yes, House Bill number 23-13 hereby passes the House. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now move for the passage of House Bill number 23-14, House Substitute 1, a bill for an act to amend the punishment for the crime of vandalism to include the option of confinement. So moved.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made by the Floor Leader for to pass House Bill 23-14, House Substitute 1, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay, Clerk, please. I'll recognize Representative Marissa Flores. I apologize for that.
That's okay, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much. Just for some clarification, you do have this document in front of you that offers a floor amendment on House Bill 23-14. The amendment should reflect on page 2, line 6, and the insertion of knowingly after persons. So it shall read as follows. A, it shall be unlawful for any person and or persons knowingly to vandalize any public or private property. And the reason to that is we did get some comment from the Public Defender's Office, And one of his comments was when we said persons, it really did not clearly define an individual who may be suffering from any mental state disorder. So we did put in that clause, put in knowingly, so that there is some sort of measurement. So that is why I'm asking that this body please include the amendment and pass the amendment under page 2, line 6, with the insertion of knowingly after persons. Thank you. So move.
Thank you, Representative Marissa Flores. Floor amendment has been offered by Representative Marissa Flores to House Bill number 23-14, House Substitute 1, and it has been seconded. You all have the amendment in front of you. Any discussions?
Ready?
Ready? Okay, all in favor for the floor amendment offered by Representative Marissa Flores, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The floor amendment is hereby adopted. We now move back to the main motion. Any discussions? Ready? All right. So I'd like to recognize the clerk to now call the roll for House Bill number 23-14, House Substitute 1, House Draft 1.
Representative Vada?
Nga.
Representative Aldan?
Yes.
Representative Fatal?
Yes.
Representative Angelo Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Diego Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu?
Nga.
Representative Vicente Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Castro?
Nga.
Representative Joseph Flores?
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Manglonia?
Yes.
Representative Vogel?
Hungan.
Representative Omar?
Yes.
Representative Probst?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
Nga.
Representative Nicholas?
Yes.
Representative Yangtamay?
Aware.
Representative Yumo? Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 19 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 19 members present voting yes, House Bill 23-14, House Substitute 1, House Draft 1 hereby passes the House. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And last on our bill calendar today, I move for the passage of House Bill number 23-17, House Substitute 1, a bill for an act to establish the crime of promoting prison contraband and appropriate punishment, and for other purposes. So moved.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made by the Floor Leader to pass House Bill number 23-17, House Substitute 1, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All right. Thank you, colleagues. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Vada?
Yes.
Representative Aldan?
Yes.
Representative Fatal?
Yes.
Representative Angelo Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Diego Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu?
Hungan.
Representative Vicente Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Castro?
Ngan.
Representative Joseph Flores?
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Manglonia?
Yes.
Representative Vogel?
Hungan.
Representative Omar?
Yes.
Representative Probst?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
Hungan.
Representative Nicholas?
Yes.
Representative Yangtamay?
Aware.
Representative Yumo? Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 19 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 19 members present voting yes, House Bill number 23-17, House Substitute 1, hereby passes the House. Thank you, colleagues, and that will be all under bill calendar. Before we move forward, I just want to call for a quick recess. So, quick recess. We'll rise back to session. Um, Before we went on recess, we just wrapped up with the bill calendar. So now we'll move down to item number 17, miscellaneous business. Floor is open for miscellaneous business. Or rather, discussions under miscellaneous business. Recognize Representative Atal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And as we received the governor's communication on the on our fiscal situation right now in the CNMI. There's the working group with the administration on the financials. We will continue our working group for the next couple of weeks. That will also address the 2024 budget. But with the 23 budget in hand right now, we will be working through our chairman of Ways and Means, Mr. Rep. Yumo, and our fiscal analyst, so we can get that product out at the soonest for the members review. And also, I believe we're finalizing the concurrent resolution, which is only going to change the ceiling and the bottom line number for our consideration. But as we all know, that the ARPA was a was responsible for 20% of the salaries of the individual employees of the government. Those are definitely cut off, and 100% of our operations was paid for by ARPA. Those are cut off. So we need to get down and really do a lot of the legwork. I understand that the the information that was sent over by the administration is looking at a 72-hour work week or work schedule for each of our employees. Now we will work with that, and we will figure out ways to be able to collect other funding sources as per the communication from the administration. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield, and I will give more updates in the coming days. Thank you again, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Atal. Floor is still open for miscellaneous. Ready? Okay, thank you. We now move down to item number 18, announcements. Recognize Representative Yanktamai.
I just want to announce about the APIL Board of Directors meeting. It will be in Koshai, and it will be on April 2nd to the 9th, actually 3 to the 7th. And it will be paid for. The accommodations will be paid for. And I will represent the House, and we are still waiting the Senate confirmation for a Senate member. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Yanktamai. I thought you were going to offer to pay for another member, but floor is still open. Recognize Representative Yumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And in line with Rep. Pigiato, the Committee on Ways and Means will be issuing will convene actually on Monday, March 13th, to address governor's communication and all local bills introduced today, just for the House, the members of Ways and Means. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Yumo. Any recognize Representative Atal? All right, thank you
I'll
for
be
that.
at 1 p.m.
Okay, recognize Representative Angelo Camacho.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to advise the general public, if they're just watching live, Precinct 5 is planning on starting up a function, something similar to the Thursday night market, street market. So we're anticipating probably by May or June. So I would like to advise the people, if they're interested, it's going to be specifically for food. If you're interested, to please, go ahead and start prepping. Maybe apply for a business license or even a food handler's permit. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Angelo Camacho. Any more under announcement? Okay, I will be calling for a session on Monday at 2:00, just to let you all know, so that we can get the revised budget process going with the concurrent resolutions. And of course, if any other communications or bills or committee reports make it by, with makes the 72 hours, of course, we will entertain those. So That's my announcement. Any more? Ready? Okay. And now I'll move down to adjournment, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Subject to the call of the speaker, I move for adjournment.
Thank you, floor leader. Motion has been made to adjourn today's session, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay. All in favor to adjourn, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The session is hereby adjourned. Thank you, colleagues.